Fala galera, bora continuar o modo história aqui do Call of Juarez. Estamos caminhando para metade pro fim já, né, da história do Silas Greaves. Me chame de caçador de recompensas. Lobo Cinzento, o curandeiro Apache, ofereceu a Silas um aviso misterioso, alertando para que não bebesse. Agora nós vai atrás dos irmãos Dalton.
It was early morning.
Isso mesmo.
One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property. Their first mistake was pulling a job in their own damn hometown. The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently.
Olha lá, ele tem uma controvérsia da história.
It was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals.
Cada conta de jeito como escutou a história, a lenda, né?
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. And now they finally had them dead to rights. But those boys had a reputation as stone-cold killers, so the marshals took every precaution, knowing they wouldn't go easy. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait the son of a bitches out.
But this bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind.
Gasta de 2 tiros aqui.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank.
Aqui eu acho que é 3 histórias que é
And he figured
contado.
out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Ué, 2 histórias.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas Greaves?
Jim Booth,
Son of
Davy
a
Crockett,
bitch!
who died defending the Alamo.
This plan cannot. Gotcha!
Desviou da bala. Nossa, essa daqui abre no meio, velho. É incrível essa 12 aqui. Aqui sempre tem uma pepita da verdade quando vocês forem jogar, ó. Pra pegar aqui, ó. Aumenta a experiência ali.
Over there!
Só provocando, olha lá. Essas animações é a melhor.
What the hell? Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Olha lá, outra controvérsia. Agora o modo da história certo aí, ó. Agora contada pelo Silas, né?
I was late to the party and Coffeeville was already up in arms.
Vou fazer um upgrade aqui. Aumenta a velocidade de recarregamento. Vou usar esse aqui, ó. Depois eu faço o upgrade desses dois. E desse aqui também, ó. Posso deixar pra trás, não.
The Daltons blew up a safe, and we're all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Acertou um dos nossos brothers ali, ó. O líder, o amante, o predador. Os irmãos Dalton.
I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeeville.
Now you're in trouble.
Será que é por aqui?
You're gonna need a cannon.
Vai, bota a cara.
Don't waste your bullets. Go ahead.
Toma. Achando que essa 12 aqui é brincadeira? Tentei pegar eles ali, mas não deu. Correram.
Tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose them. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons. And they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons. Which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Nossa, cachorro latino é o melhor. Vamos aqui por fora.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer,
Aqui
but
tem que
they
tomar
always
cuidado.
stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape.
Oh.
The third brother stayed behind to plant me,
Ai,
just in case
pegou,
that trap of
velho. Eu
theirs didn't
levantei.
work.
Aqui tem que tomar o máximo de cuidado ali. Ah, tem que pegar outro cover ali. Ah! Nossa, faz tempo que eu não jogo, cara, pra me lembrar onde tem que se esconder aqui. Escondi bem no cantinho. Essa parte é embaçada, hein? Esses caras é muito difícil de matar eles. Né?
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt. Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Gonna beat you like a redheaded.
Conquista alcançada, tempo bem gasto. Ai, fui pro lado errado.
You ain't getting by me, Greaves. You are dead, law dog.
Esse aqui é o Emmett Dalton, um dos irmãos Dalton.
I'm gonna tear you apart.
Eu tenho que ser rápido, só com a 12.
Damn head clean off. You messed with the wrong damn dog.
Nossa,
Why can't you die
com a
already?
pistola quase não tira dano.
I'm gonna plant you where you stand. It's hog killing time.
Peguei.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
Aqui na parte dessa história ele conseguiu pegar um dos irmãos Dalton, né? Mais pra frente ele vai conseguir matar os outros dois irmãos dele. Caçador de recompensa ainda é meu nome. Ao longo dos anos, Silas Graves se tornou um famoso caçador de recompensa, porém sua principal ambição era se vingar de Bob Bright. Vocês vão ver quem é Bob Bright no final do jogo.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
Vocês vão se impressionar.
They can't get away with this.
Quem é
And in
Bob
that time,
Bright?
a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Essa pistola aqui é top, mano. Depois que
They seemed as
upa
determined
ela
as
até o
me to
final.
find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks. It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood. The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Bury them in the swamp. Plant them where they stand.
Olha lá, carrega
Except
com
for some
com
bitches ahead
X.
of me wanting to do me harm, so I had to face them alone.
Carrega mais rápido.
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet, but I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Ô louco, não matou. Caramba, eu tô sem munição, velho.
Kill them all.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Hell's a coming. Get ready to die from dynamite. Kill that cop.
Ó, tem que tomar cuidado com esses espingardeiros aí, ó. Eles são muito fortes, cara.
They're gonna need a dust pack to pick you up. I'm still ain't no fake.
Ai, desvia pro lado errado. Essa parte é muito difícil, cara. Ele não tava pegando ali. Olha lá, soprando o cano do revólver. É pistoleiro, filho. Vai recarregar rapidão aqui. Olha. Nossa, o cara lançou aqui, velho. Dinamite.
Shoot that asshole. I still have all my fingers. You in the building coming. Ready for a belly full of butt.
Olha lá o espingardeiro.
Put that mad dog down.
Se matou sozinho, velho.
Point being, I was under serious attack. And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
Agora ficou melhor esse carregamento rápido. Melhor upgrade.
A barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view.
Pam, pam.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them.
Correr.
But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Ele tava dormindo.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians? They were Indians?
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
Eu pensei que o Steve não tava prestando
Where
atenção.
was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch!
Não pode errar a sequência, não.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet, but I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what.
Where'd you learn that?
But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Bury him in the swamp. Kids do not deserve to die like that.
Aí eu vesguei tudo. Oi, correu, filho da mãe. Peguei os dois ali. Tinha um cara com escudo aqui. Ai, o cara aqui é rápido, meu brother. Ai, não corre não.
Waste your bullets. Go ahead.
Mostra a cara. Bota a cara. Pra sorte dele que você... Toma aí, ó. Tô com uma bala só. A barra de concentração ali tem que upar ela. Nossa, espingardeiro.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Melhor ele assoprar no cano do revólver ali. O cara é brabo, mano. Silas Greaves aí, ó. História muito louca desse jogo. Acho que já tá se encaminhando pro fim já, galera.
And that's when I saw it. A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Guess it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
Agora ficou melhor esse carregamento aqui, ó. Com metralhadora ali. Aí, ó.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something.
Vou botar a cara
I
aqui.
do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature.
Toma.
Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Aqui, ó. Dinamite aí, ó. Segura aí. Aqui ele foi traído, galera, pelos amigos dele aqui no caso, né? Os companheiros dele, né? Ó,
Right
aqui, ó.
about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
Olha que traíra.
But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm sending you to hell!
Traidor, velho. Dos
The Daltons
vigilantes, né?
had played
Not
me
so
like a
tough
fiddle.
after all, is it?
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you hear
fight.
about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed dead. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh, God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Breeze?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Ai, caramba, aqui tem que ficar esperto com os caras que sobem ali, ó. Vacilei, galera.
Somebody kill that son of a bitch! Someone kill that bastard! I see him!
Lá em cima, lá.
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time.
É
They
muita
were in this
gente.
together. Two brothers side by
Aqui, ó.
side,
Os
determined to
irmãos
take
Dalton.
me down.
Ele conseguiu pegar.
Confident that this
Aqui é
time
muito
the odds
difícil,
were on
galera.
their side.
Que é dois caras, meu.
They got it wrong.
Peguei os dois.
Sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds.
Esses modos
For
duelo eu não
over
perco
14 years
galera.
later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day
Mas é difícil, viu?
And the
Morto
tragic
com honra
death.
lá, ó.
of
Foi morto,
his two brothers.
foi morto com honra. A precisão 40. É 40 porque são dois caras no caso ali. A precisão diminui no caso, né? Por isso que ele ficou lentão ali pra atirar.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
O irmão dele morreu no caso, né? Assassinou, né? Bobby Bryant.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
Galera, vocês vão ver onde o Bobby Bryant tá. Que ele tá em busca da vingança do Bobby Bryant, né? E ele não achou. Ele só conseguiu matar um dos assassinos, né? Esse jogo é jogaço, né? Jogaço.
Ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana.
Vou fazer um upgrade aqui. Zoom adicional ao mirar. Segura o fôlego seja mais preciso. Você terá mais um ao mirar com firmeza. Focalizar num único alvo. Acho que eu vou desbloquear essa aqui. Tem isso aqui aberto também, ó. Rápido no gatilho. Mira mais rápido. Mire mais depressa nos alvos. Sua velocidade de mira com qualquer arma aumenta em 30%. Eu vou desbloquear isso que eu quero esse olho aqui, ó. O zoom adicional. E tem esse outro upgrade aqui, ó. Que tem que fazer também. Carregue sua arma ao iniciar uma concentração. Mas isso daí eu faço na próxima.
Among them was the Sundance Kid. And that murderous hombre I was tracking. Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop. Well, I assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
Aqui tem que ser rápido ali. Se não for rápido...
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them. From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Olha lá, por isso que eu...
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados. Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
I'm done with you. You see that?
Ô louco, não morreu nessa dinamite?
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Essas animações com a arma que é legal, né? Top, top, mano. O espingardeiro. Toma.
Times it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back.
Aqui também tem uma pepita da verdade, ó. É porque eu já recolhi, ó. É por aqui, meu.
I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a hand.
You mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
E olha com... Grande grupo versus bando selvagem. Pensa numa treta.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the wild bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
Who the hell is that? He's not in mine! God damn him! Take cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! Hell's a coming! He'll kill us all! Death is coming for you. If I'm dead, so are you.
Nossa, passou na orelha isso. Trocar de arma, que essa arma é horrível, mano. A pior pistola desse jogo, mano.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they? Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was gonna stay on old Bob's trail.
If you want to live, you calm down the thunder.
Aqui é horrível, meu. Nessa parte é muito difícil, cara.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nose Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean.
Bora pra mais um
And
duelo.
Kid Curry. And maybe
Kid
Elsie
Curry.
Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
Olha os dólares voando ali, ó. Do dinheiro roubado. Ai, demorei muito, mano. Vacilei agora. Que vem na barra de concentração ali.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America. They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
Galera, vamos fechando o vídeo de hoje por aqui. Espero que vocês tenham gostado dessa parte dessa história do Silas Greaves. História muito legal dele contada. Uns fala de um jeito a história, ele fala de outro. E na próxima a gente continua. Beleza? Valeu, falou, fui!